Negative feedback. Everybody needs it, nobody wants it. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kat and I write children's fiction. Last week I talked about how to differentiate between unhelpful and unconstructive feedback versus helpful and constructive feedback. If you missed that video because you're not subscribed to my channel, you know what to do. Click that subscribe button. This week we are going to talk about how to handle negative feedback that is constructive. Because just because it's helpful doesn't mean it's not hurtful, especially because the person has a point and you're going to have to make some changes to your writing. Step number 1 is to make sure that you're getting quality feedback. Check out last week's video if you haven't already to help you with that. And let me just stress again how important it is not to flat out dismiss criticism just because at first it might sound hurtful and not constructive. So really try to understand where that person is coming from. Ask them for details, ask them to explain. Try to guide people so that they can give you feedback that you find helpful. You can do that by asking them non-leading questions. Jenna Morassi has a great video on that where she talks about her beta reading process and which questions she asks her beta readers, so I will link that up here. You can tell them if maybe they need to sugarcoat things sometimes, or if you want them to give you a compliment sandwich. So really just guide them so that they can give you the criticism that you need to improve your writing. So what if the criticism is really helpful but it's still negative? Let's move on to the next point. Step number 2 is do not, under any circumstances, take it personally. Your writing is obviously something that's very close to your heart. So just remind yourself, the person who's giving you feedback is not personally attacking you. They are just trying to help you to improve your writing. So don't explain, don't justify yourself, don't lash out. Take everything in, listen, try to understand, and then act later. It can be very easy to panic when somebody gives you bad feedback and you just think, man, this is something so huge, I will have to rewrite my whole book. How am I even gonna do this? It's very easy to panic, or it's very easy to dismiss criticism. If someone didn't phrase it in the nicest way and you just think, they don't know what they're talking about. But if you look at it later, they might actually have a very good point. So really just chill for a minute, don't do anything, and then go back to the feedback later and see what's actually in it. Sometimes those seemingly huge things are actually very small fixes. So I had something like this where my alpha reader pointed out a plot hole to me and I thought, oh my god, this is huge, I will have to find a solution for this. And in the end, I just changed a few sentences and everything was fine. And here's the deal about explaining yourself. You can't do that once your book is published, right? So if someone spots a mistake or something that is not clear before your book is published, then be really grateful for that and just fix it, because otherwise you'll just have plot holes and inconsistencies and just weird stuff happening in your book. Also, if you just constantly justify yourself, your beta readers and critique partners and everybody giving you feedback will just very quickly understand that they cannot be honest with you, and they will just stop pointing out mistakes in your manuscript. And if you still take things personally, just remember this. First of all, you are most likely not a bad writer, because bad writers usually don't go and look for feedback. they just think they're awesome and they just publish their book just as it is. Also, beta readers and critique partners wouldn't invest all this time in telling you small details that you should fix if they didn't think your overall book was worth it. Some people might because they're super nice and they have too much time, but most people won't. They won't invest the time in your book unless they think it will be worth it in the end and that your book is worth it. So yeah, you are not a bad writer. You just need to improve some things, as everybody does. Step number 3, be grateful. I know it can be very easy at this point to focus on yourself because you are currently getting your writing ripped to shreds. But really, take a moment to thank people that help you to improve your writing, because they take time out of their days to read your writing when they know it's not perfect, when they know that there are things that have to be improved. They take the time to tell you what they liked and what they didn't like. And they also take the emotional energy to be honest with you and to tell you if they didn't like something. Because that's probably hard. Like, they don't want to hurt your feelings, but they take the step to be honest with you. And I think that's something to be really grateful about, because some people could just not read your work and tell you, oh yeah, I read it, it was great. Or they might be afraid to hurt your feelings, and so they won't point out problems to you, and then you will end up with a book that you published that you can't change anymore, and that is just not really good. So really, take a moment to thank everybody who is taking the time and putting in the emotional energy to give you honest, valuable feedback. Step number 4 is implement the necessary changes and be prepared to kill your darlings. You are writing your story for your readers, correct? So just let go of anything and everything that doesn't serve them. And I know this can be really hard. It can be really gut-wrenching to cut out characters that you love or scenes when you've worked really hard to create them. But here's the thing. In the end, the reader is not in your head, right? They can't feel the same love that you feel for this character, or they can't envision how amazing this scene was in your head and how great it's supposed to be. All they know, all they have to work with is what's on the page. So what's on the page counts, and what's on the page just needs to be good. Okay, so I really hope this video helped you to deal with negative feedback and criticism a bit better. And as always, of course, let me know in the comments if you have some good strategies to kind of deal with those feelings that might overwhelm you when you receive negative feedback. Thank you so much for watching today. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked it. And also follow me on all of my other social media if you want to. I will link everything down below. Thank you so much for watching today, and I wish you a great day. Bye!